There's a kind of power in knowing your worth, in understanding what you bring to the table. But it's even more powerful to walk away with grace when others don't see it. When you know who you are, you don't let people treat you like you're anything less. They may not see it now, but one day they'll remember you and realize what they had and lost. They'll regret letting go of someone so full of strength, heart, and promise. And you'll be moving forward stronger and unstoppable. There's a certain power in understanding your own worth. It's not about ego, it's about clarity. When you truly know what you bring to the table, you don't allow anyone to tell you who you are. You walk into a room and you don't need to announce yourself, your presence, your character, the respect you give to yourself speaks for you. Knowing your worth is about recognizing that what you have inside is priceless, that you're carrying value that doesn't need outside approval. Others might try to shake your confidence, but when you know what you bring, you don't flinch. You know you have talent, heart, and a perspective no one else does. You bring something that can't be bought or taught. It's earned through every challenge you've overcome, every hard day that made you stronger. When you value yourself, you stop settling for less. You start demanding more of yourself and more from the world. And when you start demanding more, you attract people and opportunities that rise to meet you. That sense of self-worth isn't given to you by someone else. It's built from the inside out. It's every time you've gotten back up after being knocked down, every lesson you've learned, every moment you've had to stand alone and find strength in your own company. You have been through things others will never see, and you've come out stronger because of them. That's where your worth comes from. When you know your worth, you don't beg for anyone's attention, respect, or validation. You walk with a quiet confidence, the kind that turns heads and commands respect without having to ask for it. You're steady, you're grounded, and most importantly, you're untouchable in a way that only someone who truly values themselves can be. Rising above the small-minded takes grit. It means you've got to see beyond the petty criticisms, the doubters, and the people who can't imagine more for themselves and definitely can't imagine it for you. The small-minded will always try to pull you down because they can't stand to see someone break free from the limitations they're stuck in. They'll throw words, doubts, and sometimes even mockery at you, hoping it'll keep you from rising, because if you succeed, it makes their excuses feel weak. But your vision is bigger than that. When you have a dream that feels like it could change your life, you don't let the noise of small thinkers distract you. They're afraid of the very things that drive you: ambition, courage, resilience. You can't let their fears become yours. To rise above, you've got to have tunnel vision, keep your eyes on where you're headed, no matter who's trying to stand in your way. You've got to keep moving, knowing that their opinions are just static in the background, and your real work is too important to get sidetracked by anyone's insecurities. You can't spend time proving yourself to people who won't understand your journey. You don't have to justify your goals, your drive, or your choices to someone who refuses to think big. Let them stay where they are while you keep climbing. And know this: the higher you go, the quieter their voices become. Walking away with grace is power in its purest form. It's knowing that you don't have to stay in a place where you're not valued or treated right. It's the strength to leave, not out of anger or pride, but out of self-respect. When you walk away with grace, you're telling the world that you won't let anyone or anything keep you where you don't belong. You're sending a message that you're moving forward on your own terms, unshaken, and with your dignity intact. Grace means you don't have to get the last word or explain yourself to people who can't see your worth. You leave because your peace matters more than their opinions. You're choosing to take the high road, to let go without causing harm, without needing validation or revenge. And that takes a rare kind of strength. It's about knowing that your journey doesn't end here, and you're not going to let anyone drag you down into bitterness or resentment. You leave them with respect, because that's who you are: someone who carries themselves with a calm confidence, no matter the situation. When you walk away gracefully, you show the world and yourself that you're in control of your life. You're letting go of what no longer serves you, and you're creating space for the right things to come in. Walking away isn't weakness, it's choosing to protect your peace, your values, and your heart. It's a reminder to everyone watching that you don't need to stay anywhere you're not honored, and you have the power to let go, move on, and rise above with dignity. Staying on your path means having the discipline to follow your purpose, even when others can't see where you're headed. It's easy to get distracted by what people think you should be doing, by their opinions or doubts. But you know that the path you're on wasn't built for anyone else to understand. It was meant for you. And staying on that path takes courage to keep going, even when it gets lonely, even when the voices around you start to question your choices. It's having the strength to block out the noise, the negativity, and all the reasons others think you might fail. When you're on your path, you're not competing with anyone else and you're not chasing validation. You're moving forward because you believe in what you're doing. Every step you take is a commitment to the vision that drives you. Sometimes you'll face moments of doubt, and sometimes it'll feel like the world is pulling you in 100 different directions. But that's when you dig deep, when you remind yourself why you started and where you're going. Staying on your path means honoring your journey, recognizing that the road may be long, but the destination is worth every challenge you face. People will come and go. Opportunities may pass by, but when you're focused on your path, you're not swayed by temporary things. You understand that not everything is meant for you, and not every setback means you're off course. You learn to keep your head up, to walk with purpose, and to let the rest fall away. Because in the end, it's your path, your purpose, and your life that you're shaping. And when you stay true to it, you'll find that every step is building you into the person you were meant to be. They'll miss your energy because what you bring isn't something you can replace. It's not just your presence, it's the light you add to every room you walk into. When you're around, people feel uplifted. They feel a spark of possibility, a sense of hope, because you've got a unique energy that can shift a mood, brighten a day, and make the impossible feel a little closer. You bring a warmth that people take for granted until it's gone. And the truth is, that kind of energy can't be faked, it can't be forced. It's just you showing up as you are, with all your kindness, passion, and drive. When you're no longer there, people will feel the absence. They'll feel the space where your laughter used to be, where your encouragement used to lift them up, where your strength used to give them something to lean on. They may not have noticed it before, but they'll realize how much your energy shaped their lives. They'll remember how you were there, holding things together, even when it wasn't easy. Because you've got a rare quality of presence that makes others feel alive, a heart that reaches out, and a soul that speaks even when you're silent. You gave more than they realized. You showed up for them, believed in them, and maybe even carried them when they couldn't carry themselves. But now that energy, that light is moving forward, focused on those who see and appreciate it. They'll look back and remember how you made them feel, and they'll know it wasn't something they could just find anywhere. It was something only you could give. And while they may wish they had recognized it sooner, you'll be out there sharing your energy where it's honored, where it's met with the respect and appreciation it deserves. People often see value too late because sometimes they're so focused on the flaws or the expectations they create in their minds that they miss the greatness right in front of them. They get used to your presence, your efforts, the ways you go above and beyond, and they start to believe that it's just how things are supposed to be. They don't realize the value of someone who stands by them, who lifts them up, who pushes them to grow until that person isn't there anymore. And by the time they look around and realize what they had, it's already out of reach. When you're pouring into people, giving them your best, it can feel like they're not even noticing. But that's often because they've mistaken your dedication for something that will always be there. They think they'll always have your kindness, your loyalty, your heart, but they don't see that it takes effort, that it takes intention. And when someone can't see the value in what you're giving, they don't respect it. They don't protect it. They don't think about the fact that one day it might not be there. Then one day you're gone. And suddenly they feel the gap, that missing presence, that energy that's no longer there to uplift them. That's when they start to remember the things they didn't appreciate, the sacrifices they didn't notice, the loyalty they took for granted. It hits them slowly at first, and then all at once. They realize the value of what they lost, but by then it's too late. Because you've moved forward, you've chosen to give that energy to people who see it, respect it, and honor it from the start. People often see value too late because they don't realize that what you bring isn't guaranteed. It was never promised. You gave it out of the goodness of your heart. But just because you gave freely doesn't mean you'll keep giving to those who don't appreciate it. And by the time they wake up, by the time they understand what you meant in their lives, you're already on a path that they no longer have a place on. Letting your actions speak is about living with a quiet strength that doesn't need words to prove its worth. You don't have to announce your intentions, explain yourself, or argue to make people see your value. Instead, you show up, you work hard, and you let the results tell the story. When others are busy talking, over-promising, and looking for validation, you're focused, staying true to what you set out to accomplish. Every step you take, every effort you put in, adds up to something that's undeniable. Your actions become the evidence of your commitment, the proof of who you are, and you don't need to say a thing. In a world that's quick to judge, quick to criticize, there's power in simply moving forward without stopping to answer every voice that questions you. People will talk. They'll assume, and sometimes they'll doubt you, but when you let your actions speak, you're choosing to rise above the noise. It's about walking the path, not just talking about it. Over time, people start to see the impact you're making, the results that can't be ignored. It's in the consistency, the dedication, and the way you show up day after day with the same fire, the same commitment. Actions don't need applause, they demand respect. When you let your actions speak, you're choosing to let go of the need for approval. You're not out to prove anyone wrong, you're out to prove yourself right. And as you keep moving forward, those who doubted, those who questioned, they'll come to understand because your work will stand on its own. Actions are a language that everyone understands. They're honest, they're undeniable, and they're powerful. When you live by what you do rather than by what you say, you're building a legacy that doesn't need anyone's permission. You're showing, not telling, that you're here for a purpose, and nothing, not the doubts, not the criticism, not the noise will keep you from seeing it through. Keeping your heart open even after you've been hurt or let down is one of the strongest things you can do. It's easy to close off, to put up walls and decide that no one else deserves access to the depths of who you are. But when you keep your heart open, you're choosing not to let the pain of the past dictate your future. You're choosing to believe in the goodness that still exists, to see the light in others, even if some have tried to dim yours. It's the courage to let people in, to give, to love, and to trust again, knowing there's always a risk. But you accept that risk because you understand that a closed heart can't truly live. An open heart is a powerful thing. It means you're not just surviving, you're still able to give of yourself, to connect deeply, to feel compassion, even for those who may not deserve it. When you keep your heart open, you're telling yourself in the world that your spirit is stronger than any betrayal, any disappointment. You're refusing to let bitterness become your armor. Instead, you let empathy, kindness, and resilience fill that space. You know that not everyone will see the beauty in you, and that's okay. Because you're not open for everyone, you're open for the ones who will value and cherish what you offer. It's not about being naive or ignoring the lessons of the past. It's about choosing not to let those experiences harden you. An open heart learns but doesn't close. It grows wiser, yes, but it still beats with hope, with the belief that there is more to life than just shielding yourself from pain. When you keep your heart open, you give yourself the chance to experience real, meaningful relationships. You're able to impact others, to make a difference, and to receive love as fully as you give it. There's a vulnerability in it, but that vulnerability is what makes you human. It's what makes you strong. And it's what will ultimately allow you to live a life filled with connection, purpose, and a deep sense of fulfillment. Using loss as fuel is about turning the pain into purpose. Loss has a way of cutting deep, of taking something away from you that you thought would always be there. It changes you, but it's up to you to decide how it will change you. When you use loss as fuel, you're choosing not to let it break you, but to let it build you. You take the emptiness, the hurt, the feeling of being knocked down, and you turn it into something powerful. Every loss becomes a lesson. every setback a step up, and every heartache a reminder of what you're capable of enduring. It's not about ignoring the pain or pretending it doesn't matter. You feel every bit of it, but you don't let it paralyze you. Instead, you let it sharpen you, giving you a depth and a strength you didn't know you had. You channel that pain, that anger, that emptiness into your goals, into pushing harder, working longer, and digging deeper. It becomes fuel that drives you forward, reminding you of what you've been through and what you're capable of achieving. You turn it into motivation, something that keeps you moving when you're tempted to stop, that gives you the extra edge to go further, to be better, to rise above. When you use loss as fuel, you're taking back control. You're deciding that even if something was taken from you, you won't be left empty. You use that loss to create something bigger, something that honors what you've been through. It becomes a part of you, not as a wound, but as a source of power, a reason to keep going, to keep fighting for what you believe in. Loss shows you what you're made of. It reveals your strength. And when you use it to drive you forward, you're proving that nothing can hold you down, not even the hardest moments. You're building yourself into someone who not only survives loss, but thrives because of it. And in the end, that's how you turn pain into progress, loss into legacy. Leaving a legacy of strength is about creating a lasting impact that transcends your time on this earth. It's not just about the accomplishments you achieve or the titles you hold. It's about the way you inspire others to rise, to overcome, and to become their best selves. It's the imprint you leave on the hearts and minds of those who come after you. A legacy of strength is built through your actions, your resilience in the face of adversity, and your ability to uplift those around you, even in the darkest of times. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to show what true strength looks like. When the storms of life hit, it's how you respond that defines you. Do you crumble or do you stand firm, rooted in your values and principles? Your strength isn't just about physical power, it's about emotional resilience, mental toughness, and the willingness to keep pushing forward when things get tough. Each time you choose to rise rather than fall, to persevere instead of retreating, you're laying another brick in the foundation of your legacy. But it's not just about your personal battles, it's about how you lift others as you climb. A legacy of strength is characterized by the way you share your journey, encouraging others to find their own power. It's in the moments when you reach out a hand to help someone else up, when you choose to mentor, to guide, and to inspire. You show them that they too can be strong, that they can overcome their challenges and find their own path. Your strength becomes a beacon for those who may be struggling, showing them that it's possible to stand tall, even when the world tries to bring you down. When you leave this world, what will people remember? Will they remember your accolades, or will they remember the way you faced challenges with grace? The way you showed up for others when it mattered most? A legacy of strength is not built on fleeting achievements. It's forged in the moments of vulnerability, courage, and compassion. It's the whispers of encouragement you leave in the hearts of those you touch, the belief you instill in others that they can rise too. In the end, the legacy you leave is a testament to your journey, a reflection of your character, and a source of inspiration for generations to come. Strength is not just about what you can accomplish, it's about how you empower others to find their own strength. Leave a legacy that resonates long after you're gone, one that aches is the world that strength comes not just from triumphs, but from the courage to face life head on and to lift others as you rise.